Alright everybody, this is Travis Vanden Jager's house, and in this video I'll be working Cain. Now Cain is a 10-month-old puppy from my C litter. He's a big boy, and we're going to be working the place today, the place command. Now first I'm going to be using this Elite Canine big banded collar, and it says security, do not pet, so that way whenever we go out in public hopefully people will take that. But I'm going to put this around his neck with the leash, simply to keep him in our location. If he tries to bolt or something, I have something to stop him. Also, I'm going to have to find some motivators. I'm going to try to use some kibble, because if he uses his kibble, that's great, because now we can incorporate his daily meals into training. But if not, usually cheese, like here, hot dogs and other things will motivate him. So here you see me walk him out, and there's a toddler cot that I use for the place command. The toddler cot is elevated off the ground, which makes it very easy for the dog to know whether or not they are correct. If you use a flat mat, sometimes they don't know if they're on or not. This way, if it's elevated, they know for a fact if they are on. And there I was trying to use kibble. He was not interested in it whatsoever. But now you see me using cheese, and I got his attention. So here what I'm doing is I'm luring him onto the cot, and I mark and I reward. Now I mark with the word yes. What I mean by marking with yes, I'm classically conditioning him to know that whenever I say yes, it means that he has done what was expected and he's going to receive a reward. But it's also a release command. It means you're no longer expected. Now for the first repetitions, I'm just approximating the place command. By approximating, which means that I walk him up. If he puts 1 or 2 paws, I'll mark and I reward. So he knows, okay, if I do that, I'll get the reward. Then he'll do it again. But then if I hold it off and make him work harder for it, then he'll learn a little bit faster. But you see here, just 4 or 5 repetitions through approximation, he now is starting to understand all 4 paws must be on the cot to receive that mark and that reward. So this is our very first time ever doing any type of training with them, and the place command is always the first thing I teach, because it's a good way to get a lot of repetitions in. It's a very good way to start conditioning them to the marker, but it also does 2 of the most important things in dog training, which is to get the dog to go away from you and then get the dog to come to you. So right now he's just following my body motion and not really listening to the command place. I know a lot of trainers out there will say, don't name it until you like it. Well, with pet dogs and things, that's not really that important. I'm going for quickness right now because he's here for basic obedience, but his primary reason for being here is resource guarding. He has a little bit of a problem guarding his food, his toys, and he can bite people by doing so. So why we're working the place is we're going to use that place to counter condition some of that stress from resource guarding. But you see here, he's motivated, he's following my body motion. He knows whenever I walk closer to the cot, he needs to go to the cot. He knows when I walk away from the cot, he needs to come towards me as well. So here I'm just making him get on it, and you see he's getting super excited, super motivated, he's super focused. And that's because that cheese is really holding his attention. Now, some dogs require different things. Sometimes you'll use a food log, such as Red Barn. I know Walmart now has these chicken logs that's nice and has chicken, brown rice, vegetables, things of that nature. But it's really just finding what interests your dog. Now, Cain is highly motivated towards tugs and balls, but if I used that, he would be too focused on the high level motivator such as the ball or the tug that he won't be focusing on the work that I'm asking him to do. So by finding a low level motivator such as food, then I can get a lot of repetitions in instead of, if you mark and reward a tug, then he's going to come bite the tug, we're going to play for a little bit, and then that's going to take 5 to 10 seconds for 1 repetition. With food, you can do 5 or 10 in rapid succession. So from here, you notice he's starting to get a little bit more distracted. He's starting to get unmotivated. So if you watch my body motion, now I'm going to become a little bit more active. I'm going to whip my hand around. I'm going to trigger that prey drive very minimally to increase that engagement that he was losing. So you see now he's starting to get focused a little bit. He's reading my energy, and we're starting to work that place command. So this very first session, within 5 minutes, he's starting to pick up on it. And we're going to continue doing this a few times a day. It's hot outside, so we're going to do short repetitions. But the next video, I'll show you how to keep going and when to stop and add in the next thing. So I'm not going to bore you with video after video after video of working the place command. I'll just show you what to look for and when to know when the next step is. So we're almost done. He's starting to get the idea. He's coming away from it. I can walk him towards it and say place. He jumps all 4 feet on there. I mark and I reward. Now it's time to play. End of session.